So coming to your tenure as Punjab governor, how has your experience been in staying in Punjab?
Extremely good. Extremely good. No government or no people could have been more considerate, more correct, and more affectionate to me than the people, than the government, the chief minister, and the Congress party people, opposition people would have been with me.
How was your relationship with the chief minister of Punjab?
First class.
Did you have any time when you had a view and he had a different view? Did you have disagreements?
At no place. Fortunately for me, he did not suggest anything which was wrong. And he also knew that I would not accept, which is not acceptable. And I also knew that he would not suggest to me which I would not be able to select. And there was perfect understanding. I respected him as a very elderly person, as if he is the head of the family, elderly person. And he respected, or he treated me as the head of the government.
So did you get to visit all of Punjab?
No. I did not go everywhere unless it was absolutely necessary and which I was invited.
But what do you think of the state? Where is it headed? I mean, 5 years, there's a lot of pain also because of a lot of issues like drugs.
These issues have to be understood in correct terms. If you don't understand it correctly, then there would be problem. Initially, when Punjab was created, initially the Himachal Pradesh came into existence out of Punjab. And then Haryana and Punjab were divided and these two states came into existence. We who were sitting in the parliament, we were not in favor of this. The one logic and one argument which was advanced at that time was small states will have very little scope for development. Administrative expenses will be more. But after Himachal Pradesh having come into existence started getting first prizes at the national level, and Punjab and Haryana started producing more food which is required by the country, and agriculture, these are the two most developed states in the country. And economically also Haryana is very good because agriculture has developed and because of Gurgaon industry developing, and Punjab is very good because of the agricultural development and all those things. They are one of the best states, the two of the best states in the country. And so they have done so far well. But that doesn't mean that there is no scope for further development. The question is what kind of further development. Now, having done this thing to the agriculture, they should take a few more steps to make agriculture more lucrative, more satisfying, and capable of helping the people who are in agriculture. What can be done? The first thing which can be done is to start the agro-processing industry. Second thing is food processing industry. Third thing is vegetable processing industry. The flowers also can be given.
I think everyone knows the solutions, but
and for this, the difficulty here is we are asking everything to be done by the government. We are not asking the private people to do something for them. Now, we can't build the industry and give it to the private person.
But when you came here, do you think Punjab was as you thought it was?
No, it was. They were trying to do it. Government can help, but the private sector should play a bigger role. We would not like to have public sector food processing industry. We would like the private sector food processing industry. Any help required for this can be given by the government, but that has to be a private sector activity.
See, I think these solutions are known, but the problem is that where the government has to probably play its role is as a catalyst, as a provider.
But that is exactly I am trying to say. The government will give you the vision, the ideas, Government will give you the policies. Government will have the plans and the projects made for you. But it is the private sector which has to adopt it and put in their efforts. Unfortunately, in the present times, we are expecting everything to be done by the government. And anything which has to be done by the private sector is not emphasized upon. With the result that all the defects or the drawbacks or deficiencies are attributed as the result of the activities of the government and not the result of the activities of the private sector.
When you joined here as the Punjab government, was this the Punjab you expected? Or what were the expectations?
No, I am talking not only of Punjab, I am talking of the entire country as a whole. If Narendra Modi says that Swachhata Abhiyan, would you expect government only to bring about Swachhata? From the beginning he is saying कि आप जो हैं सब लोगों की मदद के बिना नहीं होगा. In the same fashion, if you are saying that liberalization should be there, let the private people do it. Now, you don't do anything, you don't discuss anything, and then you said that the government has not done this thing, the government has done it. The developed countries have developed technology and science, not always through the government sector, but to the private sector. All the consumer industry in most of the developed countries of the world has developed through the research and development done by the private industry itself.
But perhaps it also suggests that the investors are not very confident of a particular state or of a particular environment.
Then they shall have to blame themselves, because they shall have to study what is required in the country. They shall have to study what can be sold outside the country, and for that the Foreign Trade Ministry has the information, the Home Ministry has the information, the government has the information. But what should FICCI do? What should CII do? What should ASSOCHAM do? Instead of asking for reducing the taxes alone, they should know what would be the positive points they would be taking to bring about research. Automobile industry has to be developed. Why should you wait for the foreign automobile industrialists to come here and give you a new type of car? Why should you not do it?
That's exactly the point. In terms of why aren't local people also confident?
They have, that is why you shall have to tell them, and we politicians also have to tell them, and the parliament members sitting on the ruling benches and the opposition benches also have to tell them that everything cannot be done by the government. Government is one of the biggest organizations in the country, but the society is many times bigger than the government. And unless the society is enlightened, enthused, takes the leading role and plays the leading role, the results will not be fully satisfactory. We cannot take pleasure in just blaming the government and saying that we have no role to play in this. That is not going to help. Next thing which has to be done in Punjab is to develop electronic industry. Electronic industry is not in public sector. You are allowed to do anything you want. Why are you not doing? China is doing it. Why should not we do in Punjab? Why should we not do in the country? Electronic industry, they say that we have developed electronics industry. We have developed the understanding that electronic technology, electronic science and electronics industry is necessary and important for all-round development also throughout the world and India also. But as in foreign countries or as in China, electronics is not developed going beyond the software. Hardware is produced nothing. Now here, if you have to produce anything in Punjab where there is no raw material for that purpose, coal has to come from outside, steel has to come from outside, electronics is something which you can do it. So from agriculture, you can go to the processing industry. From processing industry, you go to the electronic industry. And beyond that, you go to the genetic industry and genetic technology and genetic knowledge, which can be developed in Punjab University. It can be developed in the national laboratories in the world. It can be developed in the universities of Punjab. And it should be developed by those people who want to establish genetic industry in the world.
So, I mean, it's a utopian idea in a way.
You call it utopian and you leave it aside, then nobody can help you.
Yes, but
Now,
coming to the present,
who could have thought that we will land on moon? Who could have thought that we could have gone up to Mars? Who could have thought that we would be able to see Obama speaking in America and we watching here without having a connection? At that time, that was utopia at that time. Now this is, if it is utopia and you are not going to do it, it's not going to happen.
But did you think that there is some pain also in Punjab?
My difficulty, having been in politics, is that the politicians may commit mistakes, may be wrong. But it is not only because of the mistakes or the deficiencies in politicians. The success or failure of the country or the province is the result of what they do at the governmental level and at the society's level. Who is asking the entire society to do their duty? In the olden days, the saints and sages were doing it. In these days, the media is asking the political establishment to do their duty. But why should they not ask the entire society to do their duty? And why should you demoralize the government good officers or terrorize the government good officers if you are doing
and that's
something?
Also not the correct thing to do.
That is not correct.
That's not
so while criticizing, you should also indicate the drawbacks of the entire society also. And if the society functions well, the government will be well. If the society is good, the government will be of that kind. If the society has some defects, the government will also be faulty.
So where does Punjab stand today?
Punjab stands at a very high level as far as the government is concerned and as far as the people is concerned.
As Governor of Punjab and UT administrator, there's this whole talk about Chandigarh being transferred to Punjab. So you've played both the roles.
No, I would not suggest anything on this. It's a complicated political issue also. I will leave it to the government, of present government, as I left it to the previous government also to take a decision. Until the time I am a governor here, I will not express my view on that point. After I leave it, privately I may talk to the people, concerned people, to the politician people, or publicly also speak. But until the time I am governor, I am not going to say anything.
There is all this talk about this institution of the governor, that it's a white elephant on the system. Or what do you think is the future of this post?
You shall have to understand, in the olden days, or in the present also, what is important is the vision, is the policy, is the plan, is taking correct decision in a correct manner. And not only the spade work. Now, if the governors who have the experience of understanding the people's aspirations, who have the experience of the financial position of the country, who has experience of the administrative intricacies involved in doing anything and everything that has to be done, who has the experience of understanding the psychology of those people who are asking something.
So there is subjective governors who are
that person has a store of knowledge, and he at a crucial moment, instead of appearing to be working everywhere, at the crucial time he says do it or don't do it, and that saves the province or the country, or it creates the problems for the province and the country. Moreover, constitutional arrangement is there. If the elected governments do not function, now who should function then? Now there has to be some authority who is in a position to say, governor's position is above the legislature, above the executive, and above the judiciary also. He is a link at a little higher level for these things. If it is not there, what will happen? Who will function if the legislature doesn't work, if the executive doesn't work, if there are problems in some other areas also? This has to be clearly understood. And the constitutional provisions, without understanding the position of the president and the governors, in the crucial times, every time they are not active. Every time they are not going before the saying and saying that मैंने बोला इनको ये करो बोल के, मैंने बोला इन मत करो बोल के. But if they are advising properly, that is the position which is given to.
Are you going to get back to politics?
That in politics, everything is not done as per your wishes. Even the man at the highest position also is not in a position to do the things which he wants to do.
But you will seek an active role?
But I will not seek. But wherever there is an opportunity and wherever my participation in whatever form is required, I shall be available. But if I again say that give me this position and that position, I think I will tell myself that you are too greedy, which I don't want to be.
But where do you see the Congress going from here? Because it's at its lowest ebb now.
You shall have to wait for some time. Because in democracy, these things keep happening. The Labour Party will win sometimes, the Conservative Party will win sometimes, the Liberal Party will win sometimes. In America, Democrats will win, the Republicans will win. So if they are defeated, you can't say that they are out of picture. And if they win, you can't say that they will continue to be there. If the present government functions in a very balanced manner, correct manner, they will have a long time. But supposing, unfortunately, under pressure or wrongly some mistakes are committed, they will suffer. As other parties have suffered, as Congress has suffered. And to say that Congress party is not correct, I don't think that is the correct position.
But do you see a challenge within the Congress to the Gandhi dynasty?
Dynasty and all those things, if there is anybody, why do you... P.V. Narasimha Rao was Prime Minister. Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister. Deve Gowda was Prime Minister. Bajpayee ji was Prime Minister. We tried to disturb Bajpayee ji in the first period, but second period, decision was taken not to disturb him. Let him continue to govern. So where is the question of dynasty?
In terms of the party, maybe not the government.
This is one of the points which they are using it to criticize. And one cannot forget that Mrs. Gandhi refused to be the Prime Minister. वो बोलेंगे कि ये पॉलिटिक्स था. पॉलिटिक्स भी होगा, मॉरल भी होगा, कुछ भी होगा. रिफ्यूज तो किया ना. Who has refused this position? ये फॉरगेट करके बोल देते हैं. अच्छा वो if he doesn't want to join the ministry, आप बोलेंगे कि क्यों नहीं ministry join किया. If he joins the ministry, he will say that क्यों ऐसा क्यों किया. This is political criticism. Let them take in a political.
Because there are murmurs with about Rahul Gandhi's leadership.
देखो कि how was Mrs. Gandhi criticized when she became the Prime Minister? How was Lal Bahadur was criticized when he became the Prime Minister? How was Lal Bahadur Shastri praised after? How was Mrs. Gandhi was praised later on? Durga भी कहने की तक चले गए थे. ऐसा politics में होता रहता है.
You've penned down about 8-9 books. Anything more in the offing? Are you?
I am intending to write 2 books.
Okay.
One I am going to call Problems and Solutions. And it will have the political contents, the problems and solutions of democracy.
Okay.
Problems and solutions of monarchy, problems of solutions of democracy. Monarchy was created, it functioned well, but it later on disappeared. Problems of democracy, it functioned well and it is dominating today. But if the defects of the democracy are not solved in time, it will also suffer some setbacks, which should not happen. Instead of criticizing the political parties or individuals, I would say that these are the problems. Election, if a lot of money is used. Media, Now, if media is, instead of being partial, if it is for one reason or the other reason because of political inclination, is trying to be partial, or the people, they are likely to think about caste system, this system and all those things. It will create, in fact, how to overcome these things. If you want to reduce the cost, you have the elections funded, elections of the candidate also funded. If you want funds for that, people are contributing to the individuals to election. Let them contribute to the government. As some industrialists say that हम government को देंगे, हम candidate को देंगे, good, अच्छी बात है. नहीं है तो भी पैसा ले सकते हैं आप किसी से. आप ये भी कर सकते हैं कि अगर किसी का income 5 crore, if somebody is earning more than 5 crores of rupees net income, let him pay as a tax, election tax also, not the middle class people and lower class people, and use that amount of money to purchase the entire TV time. And ask the TV people not to comment in the election period. You just televise the speeches at the cost of the government of all the candidates, and let the people form their own opinion without your comments. There are professors, there are intellectuals, there are experienced people, there are workers. Let them form it. You will not. If you do it, they would say that because of this you have criticized this man, because of this. That also can be reduced. And then caste system is not good. Reservation system. Now if reservation is there, really deserving people should get. Now if you have the reservation for those needy people, any section of the society, then there is a problem. I mean, if the Muslims are saying, why don't you provide reservation house? If you are finding it difficult to give them, you say that the economic criteria will help. And
yeah, basically, caste religion should not be a criteria. There should be a sub-criteria in terms of...
If you have given scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, let them continue. If you have given to others, you have at least discuss it and decide what to do and all those things. If the higher section of Supreme Court has said a creamy section of the society, you try to avoid giving benefit to the creamy section of the society. You avoid to give that kind of thing. No, these are some of the things I am saying.
It has to be a thought process in terms of how to use these two, in the sense, be productive in society.
Problems and the solutions. I am giving the solutions also, not only the problems. And then the legislature. How is legislature working? So a legislature is working, Panditji's time, 170, 180 days. Now we have working in the parliament 70 days, 80 days. If country is big, number of people are living is big, activities of individuals have become so diverse, and so you need more time. If Germany can work throughout the year, why should we not think of working for 180 days? If we work for the entire year, it is very good. But one would say that it is utopian or it is not practicable. Why is it practical for Germany and why it is not practical for Indians? If the administrators work for that time, let the policymakers also work throughout the year. Something like that. Then the parliament is working. Now there is a noise in the parliament. How do we overcome that? I am suggesting simple solution. You have a podium in the house, and the member who is speaking from the podium, his statement only will be recorded or shown on TV. And anybody who is not...
So it's a TV drama also which adds to the whole thing.
हाँ, so they will say, अरे ये तो मज़ा चला गया इसके अंदर का, इसका dramatic effect चलेगा. आपको जो भी बोलना है उसके करो. In the parliament, Indian parliament, written statements are not allowed.
You're extremely, pro energy conservation and have a huge interest in non-conventional sources of energy, especially solar power.
I did it in Chandigarh. All the government officials shall have the solar energy panels. Now we took a decision, a house which has spent more than 4 or 5 crores of rupees in constructing it, if it does not have the solar energy device, use in that house, we will not allow that person to enter that house.
This is my last question to you, Mr. Patil. Is Mr. Patil one person in terms of his political life and personal life? Is there, or do you see yourself separately as a politician and separately as an individual?
No, everything is mixed. No, I would not have joined politics if the situation had not been created and I would not have been pushed in it. But if I say that I am responsible for what I did for in my life, it's not correct. The situation was responsible. My friends were responsible. Politicians of my party were responsible. And the people ultimately.
So many years in politics, did you change as a person?
I have remained what I was as a student. Even my clothes, even my thinking, even my behavior. Sometimes I am criticized for being not being like a politician.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
खबरों की दुनिया में आइए, हमारे साथ कहीं भी और कभी भी जुड़िए। हम मिलेंगे फेसबुक पर, हम दिखेंगे यूट्यूब पर, हमें फॉलो कीजिए ट्विटर पर। खबरों के साथ बने रहिए रात दिन।